Hey, like, comment, and subscribe for more cursed images. Uh, I'm definitely going to do more thumbnails like that. Just make them look as terrible as possible. So much fun. But yeah, what are we talking about today? Why are you obsessed with me even though I reject your affection? I reject your affection! Um, the best way to describe this is like... It's kind of like a speedrun isekai. Not, I don't even really know if it counts as a... It was very weird. Because everything is, like, blitzed. Like, if I'm gonna give it a general rating, I'd probably give it like a 6 or a 5, somewhere in that ballpark, just so we know, but moving on, really quick. It feels like it's blitzing a storyline, right? So, this character is treated really poorly in the original story, basically. She is like her powers are drained. Her father doesn't believe that she's, his daughter because she doesn't have this power that's supposed to be within the royal family, and yes, she's a royal. But it's the reason she doesn't have it is because the Empress, took it from her and, used it to help her daughter, who doesn't have that ability, seem like a royal. Relatively generic plotline, she just gets cast aside and abandoned and blah blah blah. Then eventually, of course, she ends up dying. And then we get to this point where we're back in the original story here. In the main story, I feel like it's very weirdly written because like she seems to have these like the memories, but then her statements imply that she was reincarnated, which it makes it really weird because like from how you see her act, it almost makes it feel like it's a reincarnation, like or it makes it feel like it's brought back in time, but in reality it seems to be an isekai, but it's just written so awkwardly that it doesn't come across that way at first. I don't know, but and it's also blitzing the storylines. Like typically, like when you're doing one of these stories, there's a couple of chapters of setup where like you see her being treated poorly, and then you'll see like her brothers maybe initially treating her poorly when she gets adopted, and then you'll see the Duke or whatever slowly warming up to her and things like that. And all of this is taking place over like dozens of chapters, right? In this story, it's like one chapter, one chapter, one chapter. Every like arc that you would see in another story is like a chapter in this story. It is so fast. And it also makes it weird because like it doesn't make it feel like it should be happening. The example that comes to mind for me is there's a point, right, where like she gets sick and she's scared and the Duke is there and she acts like they have this super strong bond between her and the Duke, and like they've been together for so long. But in the story's length, it's been like less than a week. And she has like this massive level of attachment to him, and he also has that to her, and it's like it feels like it's something where this would be built up, but it's like no, they're a week in and they love each other. She's like their long lost daughter, basically. And it's like it feels so fast. I don't know. And then like her brothers forming like starting to care for her or whatever. It's so freaking fast. Like it feels like it's blitzing it. Like her brothers instantly love her, like she's their little sister, and they really care for her, and it's like, Jesus, like, slow down. Take a minute to, like, build some stuff up. There's really not much to talk about in ways of the story. Like, I mean, it's like any other... This vibe is very common, right? Like, the Empress is the Empress is a bad person. Her actual father was, like, uncaring for her. And then by the time he does start to care for her, it's too late. and then like this adoptive family ends up becoming a real family. It's not necessarily an uncommon story. It just feels like this one is like 0 to 100 blitz style go through the story. That's really the main distinguishing factor between this and other stories. It's basically just like, we're going to blitz a story that, like, you know, we would normally, you might tell this in 90 chapters, we're going to tell this in 30. We are going to bomb you with content. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad story, but this pace is terrible. Way too fast. It just doesn't feel like any of these connections should exist. Also, like, the Emperor, like, this is getting into spoiler territory, but because she's a royal and the Emperor's her dad that, like, treated her poorly and everything, when we see this new world where he actually starts to, like, knows that she exists and he starts to care for her and things like that, it kind of makes it makes the other scenario that we saw make less sense, because he could tell, like, oh, that's my daughter, without even seeing her ability. He just looked at her and he's like, that's my daughter. But in the other timeline or whatever, he's just like, no, that can't be her. And it's like, what? Why exactly is this story so different? Like, why does it diverge so much? Like, what exactly could, like, you know, what could the Empress do in that other timeline that just completely removed her that easily? I don't really get it. Because, and especially because in the original, you would think, like, oh, maybe she didn't have any power, so they thought he wasn't, like, you know, she can't be a part of the royal family because she has no power. But even the statements of the Emperor are like, your power is so low that it can't be you. So it's like, I don't know exactly, like, how the original timeline makes sense in terms of what we're given in the new timeline. I don't know. Like, most of the storytelling's fine. Really, my major nitpick is just the speed of it. It just feels like, you know, it just feels like a race car version of one of these stories where they're just going 100 miles an hour and just trying to give you everything as fast as humanly possible. And I mean, maybe you would like this. I mean, I don't hate it or anything. Like, the story's written fine for for what it is, but it needs to, you know, slow down. Also, it's definitely more of like a cutesy kind of story. I don't know if you like that or don't like that. I don't know. She's basically just like, you know, one of those characters where you're like, oh, that's cute. And like her brothers are like, oh, that's cute. And then, you know, like the Duke, it's like, oh, you know, it's cute seeing him like dote on his daughter, or the brothers care about their sister. It's basically just one of those stories where it's like the main character's really cute, and we're seeing all the reactions to, like, oh, she's so cute. Which, I mean, can't really say it's my favorite thing, but if you like that, you like that, I guess. I don't know. It's basically just like, that's cutesy storytelling. There's not really like a lot of deep elements here or anything. But yeah, I don't know, whatever. Let's get on with it. Of course, we're gonna do the old SAE. What is the SAE? Well, it's story, art, enjoyment. Story-wise, I mean, it's not written... What it is isn't written poorly, it just needs more time to be, you know, better, so I'm gonna give it a 6. Art-wise, 7. I mean, it doesn't do anything super unique in terms of designs or anything, but everything is well done. Enjoyment-wise, I don't know, like a 4. It's just mid. Like, it's not something I would ever want to read. It's not the worst thing ever, but like, I don't really want to blitz through any story, and I don't really like the whole cutesy vibe. I'm not really that into those kinds of stories, so I would say overall we're looking at around a 6. If we're speaking objectively, I think. Yeah, I mean, the story is, like, it's way too fast-paced. The art's fine, you know, nothing special. Enjoyment-wise, I mean, I don't personally like it, so if you have a similar taste to me, like you've watched my other videos and you with a lot of my opinions, then this is probably what you're going to be looking at. But overall, like objectively, it's probably like a 6 or is so. Like it's not written poorly or anything, and the art's fine. But yeah, not really my thing. Yeah, I don't know. Like, comment, subscribe, blah blah blah. Maybe leave another story you want me to read down below. Even if I've read it, I'll read it again. I don't care. And yeah, I'll see ya.